Today's video is the 5 meals for under £25 cooking video from Aldi. So everything I mentioned in the haul, which is linked below, I'm going to be cooking in today's video, talking you through it. And of course, as always, we'll be uploading these recipes and methods up on my website, which is also linked down below. Make sure you subscribe for part 2 of the autumn 5 for under £25 meals from Aldi, where I'm doing really super duper budget grocery shops from Aldi and creating incredible recipes or showing you incredible recipes to get you through this amazing season. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay, recipe number 1, I have to start it off with an absolute banger, and it's our Guinness beef stew. And I tell you, this is the richest, most delicious stew you will ever have in your life. First thing you're going to do is get all of your ingredients together. So you're going to need 1 tin of Guinness, you're going to need your carrots, onions, the diced beef. If you've got Worcester sauce in your kitchen cupboard, fantastic, get it out. If you've got Marmite in your kitchen cupboard, fantastic, get it out. You'll need your stock cubes, and I actually had leftover celery, just old celery sitting in the fridge, so I decided to include it. Celery goes very well with the stew. So first thing you're going to do is chop up and dice all of your veggies. And this is while I'm heating up my cast iron pan. One of the pans that I use is a cast iron pan, and it's from Aldi, and Aldi are actually selling them out again. They are Le Creuset dupes, and let me tell you, they are worth the 25 or 30 pounds you're going to spend in Aldi, because I use this pan all the time. Anyway, I'm going to fry off in some butter or my beef. This beef is going to be making 2 different recipes, so we're going to be making a pie and stew out of this, so it's going to go a long way, which is great for money saving. So I'm going to fry off in the butter and some pepper the beef, and when that starts browning, I'm going to add all of my veggies, so the celery, the carrots, all of the onions. I've also added black pepper into this. And once I have fried all of that and the veggies start going soft and the meat is fully browned, making sure it doesn't dry out, so just top it up with little bits of olive oil as well. But I'm then going to go in and add some plain flour. So what the veggies and meat will do is soak in that flour, and the flour will soak up all the juices and it will sink into the veggies mainly. And this is how you're going to get a really thick, luxurious sauce. There's nothing worse than having a gravy that tastes really good, has really good flavour, but is runny and thin. You want thick and oozy gravy, especially at this time of year. So now I've fried that all together, I do this first thing in the morning. I get 1 litre of stock, and well, just under 1 litre, and I pour in my entire tin of Guinness into the slow cooker, as well as all of the ingredients, all of the mixture. Then I add my Worcester sauce and a dollop of Marmite. That's going to give it super duper richness. You don't actually have to do this at all. I tell you what, if you have onion granules or beef granules, gravy granules at home, add a big heaped tablespoon of those into the slow cooker with all of the cooking ingredients, because that is going to give that same rich flavour. Maybe not as delicious as a bit of Worcester sauce and Marmite would, but very good. So this is going to be in the slow cooker on high for 6 hours. You can do it on slow for 8 to 12 hours, so do it first thing in the morning. But as you can see, it's going super duper thick. I can't tell you how rich this sauce is. You can really taste the Guinness in it. And then after it's been cooking for that long, it should be absolutely ready to go. It tastes even better the next day. So we always have stew on one night, then use the leftovers in a pie for the next evening, and it's always 10 out of 10. Yeah, absolutely perfect for autumn and also winter. And the beef stew leads me very nicely onto beef pie. So what's great about this recipe is you're going to feed so many people and do absolutely minimal work the next day when it's pie day. So all we do with pie day is, what I do is when I've made the stew, I decant all the pie mixture into the pie dish straight away, and then I cover this properly and put it in the fridge for overnight. It needs to be completely cool anyway when it goes into the fridge, so the pastry doesn't melt. But yeah, so we've got loads of mixture for pie, and we had loads of stewing mixture as well. So I put it all into my pie dish, and the next day is when I made the pie. So just get a ready rolled puff pastry from Aldi. Probably quite easy to make puff pastry, so if you want to give that a crack you can, but I haven't got time for that in my life. Maybe one day, but for now, this ready roll is great. So what I do is with my thumbs, just go around and press it around the pie dish, just to keep it in place, and then take off with a knife all of the overhang, all of the extra bits. You're going to need this overhang to make nice decorations for your pie as well. It just makes such a difference, especially at this time of year. But I always tend to do like leaves and a pumpkin, and I don't know, just making that extra bit of effort at this time of year just helps you to enjoy the season that little bit more, which is great. So I'm making a pumpkin here. You can also use leftover pastry to add some cheese in it and then twist it up and oven bake it for 5 minutes, because that's how you make a cheese straw. But I've decided to go with pastry art today. You also want to give the top of your pie an egg mixture, so I normally give it an egg wash and then I put my decorations on just so they look out differently. And here we go, here's the pie. I baked it for 30 minutes, maybe 45, on a medium to lowish temperature, but mainly medium. And there you go, there you have it. The pie pastry has puffed up, the decorations are looking really autumnal. Just so good. The pie is always my favourite part of making Guinness beef stew. And I also made some chunky chips with it. So chunky chips are super duper easy. I make them in the air fryer now. I use an air fryer for absolutely everything. I will link some air fryers below. Yeah, so what I do is peel my white potatoes and then I cut them down the middle lengthways, so they're two slim halves rather than two chunky halves, and then cut them into chips. So once I've done this, I will soak them and then parboil them in apple cider vinegar and salted water. Guys, if you've not tried this already, I highly recommend adding apple cider vinegar into the water for parboiling potatoes, for chips or roast potatoes. There is something unbelievably good about adding apple cider vinegar into your potatoes. It just works. It's absolute magic. It gives them like this really rich tartness. It's just so good. And then I add pink Himalayan salt. I use this or Celtic sea salt now because it's much better for you. I'll link them down below for you, the salts I use, but it's much better for you and they taste much better. But yeah, serve up your pie. Here are the chips. Look at those. Look at those chips. Unbelievable chunky chips. So good. I can't even tell you how good they taste. Okay, next up we are making sweet potato carrot soup. Soup maker is back, baby. I'm so happy about having a soup maker back. I just love the soup maker, and I've already made 4 soups in the 6 days that this soup maker has been out. I've made 4 different soups. So yeah, the soup maker definitely gets its money's worth. Even though it's only out during autumn and winter, it definitely gets its money worth. But this is the sweet potato and carrot soup that I mentioned in the haul video. Super good for you, so easy to make. If you don't have a soup maker, just put this all into a saucepan and low boil for about 3 hours, maybe a little bit more. If you've got a saucepan lid for that saucepan, even better. You can also roast these veggies first and then low boil them in the stock. That does give it a really good flavour, but I didn't have any time for that. So first thing I do is peel and chop up the carrots and sweet potatoes. Then I chop up, I did have some celery, again, left over in the fridge, so I just used it up for the soup. And then sliced up my white onions. I'm also adding 2 to 3 crushed garlic cloves into this soup as well. The double cream, if you're adding cream or something like that, or maybe even yogurt, don't add that until you've served it up, because it will separate and curdle. So but yeah, you want to dice up your sweet potatoes in this sort of shape and throw it all in the soup maker, and then I'm going to throw the stock in as well, obviously. So I do about 1 litre of veggie stock. What's great about this soup maker, I think I got it from Aldi. I will try find it on Amazon, but I did buy it from Aldi years ago. What's great about this, you can do chunky soup, smooth soup, or I can't remember the other option, but then you can do a separate blend. So what I tend to do is cook it as chunky. So it cooks nice and like for half an hour, just cooks all that stuff. And then I hand blend it with the blend button on the top to my own consistency. And that is it. I add double cream when I've put it in the bowl already. I add loads and loads of pepper and basil. This soup is stunning, absolutely stunning. We ate so much of it. It made enough for like 6 adult portions on the day, but we just had loads left over in the fridge for freezing. Adding cayenne pepper to this soup was a game changer. I don't know why I didn't add it into the original recipe, but if you do have cayenne pepper in your cupboards, add about a teaspoon of cayenne pepper per serving. So good. Okay, next recipe is sausage and potato apple mix. This is such a random dish, but it's one I like making at this time of year. It's especially great on something like bonfire night because it smells stunning. It's such an autumn warming meal, and it's just great for sharing. So first thing I need to do is peel and chop my potatoes. Cubed it. I'm going to parboil them just for a little bit before I start frying them. It just makes the cooking process easier. So dice those up into little cubes and pop those into salted water and let those boil while you chop up the sausages and get the other bits ready. I'm going to, on their own, just fry the apples in butter until they go soft and caramelize a little bit, and then I'm going to remove them from the pan because they do cook super quickly and they burn very easily. So I tend to just cook them on their own just to get some flavour out and soften them up a bit. Next thing I'm going to do is grab the sausages. I've gone for the brownlee apple and pork sausages from Aldi. Veggie sausages work perfectly as well, and I'm going to slice up each sausage into 3 chunks. And then I'm going to fry those in the pan with a little bit of extra butter and the potatoes, and then they're going to fry for ages together. I do add a good chunk of salt to this dish, but what I tend to find works better, after I've added another splash of olive oil, I put the lid on this pan and let them fry and sort of steam, because I do find that this dries out very quickly when you're frying it, so it's really hard to like keep getting moisture in there and not letting it stick to the bottom of the pan. So adding the lid does work wonders. You can also air fry this whole dish and it's stunning. But as you can see, the potatoes going really nice and crispy. Look, it doesn't look the best, I have to say, this dinner. It doesn't look the best, but it tastes blooming delicious. So once it's pretty much cooked, I do temperature check all the sausages before I add anything else in. So once I've seen that it's fully cooked, I go in and add my caramelized apples again and let those all cook together for a while. And that brings out just the most stunning smell and the most stunning taste. And then I just add some whole grain mustard in, and that's literally all you need to add. You can add some more, you can add some more sauces, you can add applesauce if you want, but for us that's all we add. Sometimes we get some hot dog rolls and sort of like pile some of this into hot dog rolls and eat it as it is, but today we just had it with broccoli and it was stunning. It was very, very nice. As I said, doesn't look the greatest, but it definitely tastes good. Okay, next up we're making a sweet potato and lentil dal, and this one is in the slow cooker. It's a proper lazy meal, super duper budget, but so good for you. And I also call it sort of the immune booster. We're coming into flu and cold and getting sick season, so I'm always trying to put this type of food into our bodies just to improve our bodily strengths, really. So first thing I'm going to do is slice and dice the onions and slice and dice the sweet potatoes, and also take some of the skin off the fresh ginger. Ginger to me is a cupboard essential, so I would get either dry ginger or fresh ginger and have it in your fridge at all times. But I took the skin off the ginger so I can grate it in, and also took the skin off the garlics. I've started making tea out of garlic skin because it has lots of goodies in it. The garlic skin doesn't really taste of anything at all, so yeah, I don't know, I thought I'd let you know because you can look into that yourself and start doing that yourself. But I crushed some garlic into the slow cooker and grate lots of fresh ginger into the slow cooker, and then I throw in my onion and sweet potatoes with a little bit of olive oil. Then I put in about 2 tablespoons of the Aldi's medium curry powder, which has a really stunning flavour. It's a really good curry powder in my opinion. And then I throw in my 2 cups of rinsed and washed red split lentils, and then my litre of vegetable stock. Throw the lid on and I leave it on low all day or on high for at least 4 hours. And there you go, there's Oren waiting very patiently for our dal to be ready and helping me peel the onions. Are you peeling the onion? Oh, he's so cute. Anyway, so a few hours later, this is what it's looking like. Everything's really, really softened. And it's just, to be fair, it's ready to eat right now, but I do just leave it for a little bit longer. Now, if you want, once you serve it up, you can add some of that double cream that we bought in the budget. It does go very, very well. But about 30 minutes before serving, I do add a load of frozen spinach. Whenever I buy spinach now, I essentially just freeze it all straight away. I normally freeze it into hand-sized balls, but I did have a massive part there that I just threw all in. But the spinach, in my opinion, makes this dish. And yeah, and I'm serving it with some homemade bread, which I made earlier that day. It's homemade flaxseed bread. I've left that recipe on my website as well. It's so easy, only has a few ingredients and really good for you. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you again for another video really, really soon. Bye!